Hello, and welcome back to the Awakening Philosophy, a podcast. My name is Jed, and we are reading the book that bangs the hardest, the most, and the most consistently, Socrates and Jesus, A Dialogue in Heaven. Oh my goodness, what a gift from Zeus himself. Where are we in the text? So, we have been developing an understanding of the meaning of life. Hooray for us. Worth doing because you're alive. And of course, one of the difficulties that keeps popping up in the text is the difficulty communicating that. It would make sense that if we are all, living, we would all benefit from knowing the meaning of life. It would help direct our actions. It would help us live well, treat ourselves well, treat each other well, take care of all living and non-living beings. But also, it would help us in our movement after death. Where does our soul go after death? If we are going to some place, wouldn't it be worth understanding what that place is and what we need to do to prepare for it? So it makes sense to understand the meaning of life, but the difficulty is, the meaning of life involves the transition from belief to understanding, meaning as rational as it would be to understand the meaning of life and what we should be doing here, we don't, because we believe other shit. So that's the problem. The problem is we are at a cognitive level of development of belief, which is different to understanding and is in principle opposed to understanding. So people believe it's not knowable to know the meaning of life, or in essence, they believe they already know what it is. Even if they say the meaning of life is relative, or it's unknowable, or it's praising Jeebus, any of those things, they already think they know. And the other difficulty there's a fundamental difficulty to learning if you already think you know the answers. But another fundamental difficulty to learning is belief teaches. In order to accept belief, thumbs up, you have to accept a fear of the mind. Don't trust understanding. Don't trust your own understanding. Don't understand your own mind and the reach of your own mind, and definitely don't have good thoughts about the self. So self, mind, understanding are opposed. So that's self, mind, understanding, 1, 2, 3, are opposed by belief, 4. And of course we have that fifth cognitive function, which is mass of difference, where you don't believe, but you don't have understanding, you don't have knowledge of mind, and you don't have the recognition of self. So a downward movement. So those are the 5 states of cognitive function we've got in the book so far. And the issue is, well, if our purpose is to move from 4 to 3, because 3, or understanding, helps us is needed to solve problems. Understanding also is what we need to reach 2 and 1, knowledge of reality and knowing the self. Then we have an issue because beliefs are in opposition to it. So, wouldn't it make sense for everybody to understand and fulfill the meaning of life, both this life and their soul's journey in multiple lives? In other words, prepare for the next reincarnation in a good way? Well, yes, that would be rational, but ain't no one got time for that, apparently. People, and we've got a few quotes talking about people would rather be entertained than educated. Another problem is if you say that simply and clearly, people won't get it, and they'd call it some strange, esoteric teaching. And as Socrates said, they thought that he was strange. Isn't it weird to think that you can understand? I don't think it's weird, but people think I'm weird for thinking that. So that's the issue. How do we communicate that to others? Because it's worth sharing. So, what is that meaning of life? Well, we've got a few different ways of talking about the same thing. In one word, philodianoia, the love of understanding. That's the new way of being, and that's the new study. Let's not call it philosophy anymore, because that word has been sort of taken over by Aristotle, which rejects all of the aspects of true philosophy. So let's call it philodianoia. And let's turn on my fan. Now, okay, so if that's what we're here to do, develop a way of being and study this new art or new subject called philodianoia, what does that involve? How will that finish? The art of dialectic. So, the meaning of life, to master the art of dialectic. Dialectic is simply the structure of understanding, or the structure of thought, but not just the structure of thought and understanding, it's also the structure of personal development. You can use the dialectic to map cognitive functions. You can use the dialectic to map different cultural ways of being, different spiritual experiences. The dialectic is the paradigm for all intelligibility. It's the structure of the logos. It's also the use of the logos, because a dialectic is how we have conversations with people step by step together to reach conclusions that are true. So predefined steps to predefined conclusions in a sense, because it's true. So the dialectic is the art that we're here to master. Now, while it's the intelligible structure of anything, its highest use, of course, is for personal development, to evolve, to fulfill your purpose. But you can use it in anything, because it's the structure of anything. Anything that is intelligible and follows a rational hierarchical structure in reality. So, yeah, dialectic. It's only 4 steps, easy peasy, and lots of fun, because it makes conversations actually good and fun and enjoyable and useful. Unlike debate, which is the exact opposite of that. So, philodianoia, to master the art of dialectic. In order to do 2 things. Now we've gone from one-word answers to the meaning of life, and our highest purpose to 2-word answers. And we have been developing a whole bunch of 2-word answers that all say the same thing in the book. Purification, perfection, removal of what's false, development of what's true. The removal of pseudo-excellence that motivates people. Their whole lives are motivated by desire for a image of excellence we call pseudo-excellence, causing our attraction to sadism and injustice, to the development of true excellence. Pseudo-excellence, true excellence. Mastering our fate, fulfilling our destiny. Removing our zombie virus to become free humans. To go from savages to sages. Lots and lots of different ways of saying the same thing, which is the transition from belief-based cognitive function to understanding-based cognitive function. It's just that simple. Okay, but now that we have got 2 ways of defining the meaning of life, well, let's use the dialectic. After you've got a definition, what do? You apply it to an example. Demonstration. So you can see it functioning. To see the thing, you got to see it functioning. To say I'm a philosopher means I best to be doing philosophical things. And that's why I do this. Thumbs up. That's this channel and podcast. And it is a curious stage in human history wherein we have what we need to reflect on the teachings of Socrates, and we have 2,000 years of implications of our mistreatment and murder of Socrates, so that we can learn how valuable it is to discover the logos, master the dialectic, and we are living out the implications of if we don't, to give us the stakes, and we can see that extinction of all life is upon the horizon, so the clock's ticking. So we are in a curious period of history where we have everything we need to reawaken our purpose, evolve, or rediscover our spiritual and intellectual past, golden age, the Hellenic system, or reclaim our mind from ignorance. So we are at that point in history where we can do it, everything we need to do it, but the difficulty is, well, it's not enough people are doing it. So not a lot of people who are open to and interested in the dialectic at the moment. Dream analysis, which is absolutely necessary and is how you get guidance to do those two things yourself. And so when I say to be a philosopher by definition, I'd have to show that by demonstration. Tricky in this part of history. But I have this dream. I do philosophy. Philodianoia, let's say. Let's use that word from now on. In that there's not a lot of people to talk to about this, but we have people who watch this, and we don't have the 50,000 viewers of Hassan and Asmongold that I keep bitching about. I feel I deserve them. I feel I'm entitled to all of those Twitch and YouTube chatters. I feel I'm owed them, so I complain about them every day. No, I'm joking, of course. But there are a few people who watch this, so, you know, we do it. We have fun. And we have funny sound drops, like this one.
I'm too pure.
And this one.
And I find that very entertaining.
Hi. Unbelievable sluts these days.
These days, the sluts are unbelievable, says our funny soundboard. Equally so, to be a musician, I gotta play music. So, similar sort of thing. So, definition and demonstration. To see the thing you've defined, you have to give an example, or you have to apply it to a specific thing, so allowing you to see how it functions. Yesterday, or last stream, we had someone reflecting on their problems, or a block that they have noticed comes up when they seek meaningful goals. And one of the aspects of understanding and freeing ourselves from our blocks is naming or defining what's going on. Things are defined by their functioning. So I asked them some questions that would get them to reflect on the functioning of the role and image that they were in, and gave them encouragement to put a name on it. So naming things based on their functioning. So this is all demonstration, the second stage of the 4 stages of the dialectic. Definition, philodiad, what's the meaning of life by definition? And we have the philodianoia, or art of dialectic, or purification and perfection, and all those pairs. And how does it function? Well, that's what we've been collecting in the book as well. So we've got a whole bunch of levels in which you can apply that. So far, we've got Socrates. Actually, let's go through the text and have a look. So, welcome. Pikachu. We got Pikachu here, and we have Pikachu at the back here. Welcome. Oi! Sas has been following this channel for 10 months, 25 days, 14 hours, and 18 minutes. Oh, almost a year. Interesting. Where did that come from? Is that something that I've got a setting for? Cool. I haven't seen that before. Congratulations. And confetti. Oh, it's a command. Cool. So, purification of what's false and the perfection of what is true. My bot. Now let's go back a little bit. We have, let's start here. One of the things that we can purify is the idea of sin. The idea that a problem happens not because it's a message to help you discover the false beliefs that you are specifically born into as a soul to reflect on, understand, and free yourself from. No, problems are because you suck and you should feel bad and I should get to hurt you and be a sadist enjoying the suffering of another human being, fucking up both of our souls. That's the idea of sin. It's disgusting and it's wrong and it's harmful. It functions in a disgusting, harmful way. We have purified that, first of all, by seeing it's a fundamental mistranslation of the Greek. The word amartion is not you are evil, it is missing the mark. But also, it's not true. It's fundamentally in opposition to everything that we are actually here to learn. Second, we have purified ourselves from that same, the implications of that punishment. The infliction of suffering and, we got lots of points. The infliction of suffering and violence on other people because of the lie that somehow it will solve problems. And it doesn't. You gave me all of the points. What do I do with the points? I typed this. Type in there we go. I have 100 extra points. I gave them back times 100. So punishment, of course, we have to remove because it doesn't solve problems. When we did a dialectic on punishment, it creates a soul defined by one in suffering. That demonstrates it has the functioning of a soul that is without freedom, preventing its learning, resulting in the root causes of problems being left undiscovered. And also the thing you only actually learn is, hey, don't become better, just trying to find ways where you don't get caught. So we've purified the idea of sin and punishment. We've also purified the idea of that on a metaphysical or cosmic level. There ain't no eternal punishment in hell, and there ain't no sinful God or devil. So that those two sides, purification and perfection. We've removed sin and punishment and replaced it with the idea that problems are actually caused by false beliefs we are identified with. And instead of punishment, dialectic. We've removed the idea of hell, but we have seen that there is a consequence to our justice or injustice in our further reincarnations. Everything that we have inflicted in terms of justice or injustice we will suffer ourselves in our later reincarnations. So super important if you don't want to have a worse lot next time, or you don't want to be stuck in suffering to do this. Pure justice. Develop justice. Which is, let's use the book. Pure justice has been defined as the soul turning upon itself to surface and eliminate those blocks to our excellence. So that this very activity we are going through right now. Okay, another thing we can purify and perfect, the idea of sacrifice. Religions are all bound by the fact that they have to sacrifice what's good and rational and logos and ousia, the very things we need for our development. Whereas in the Hellenic tradition, or philodianoia, or love of understanding, we are here to sacrifice what's bad. So, let's perfect the idea of sacrifice in sacrificing the root cause of our ignorance so that we don't act unjustly now and suffer the consequences in our further reincarnation. What other perfections and purifications do we have on the board at the moment? Okay, sin and punishment, purified for the cause of problems being ignorance and learning being the dialectic reflection. Logos and ousia, the things that believers sacrifice but we keep. Hades is not a thing, but instead reincarnation. Okay, pure justice, we can perfect pure justice here with this dialectic that we're learning, and we can purify ourselves from any idea of justice that involves hurting people. Well, we could say that we've purified the idea of not knowing the meaning of life, or the meaning of life being unknowable, by this fun dialectic here that allows us to perfect an understanding of the learning process. And we see that there are stages of puzzlement, realizing you don't know, collecting the right opinions from following the lead of a text, putting them together in your own understanding, gaining an insight from that, and each of those has a feeling state in your body, applying that insight into your world to achieve your goals. And as you do that, you realize that you jettisoning, letting go of a false pretense of knowing, allowing you to be more clear and purely yourself and natural and authentic. So all of these stages of all of these cognitive stages of learning require a body, allowing us to see, well, therefore, we are most suited for learning here in a body with this level of development into intelligence. In other words, we share in intelligence, the logos, enough to have language and to be able to reflect on ourselves so we can understand the learning process, because we have language to understand, and we can reflect on ourselves going through the understanding process, allowing us to come to the conclusion that therefore we are most suited for necessarily learning in life with a body, therefore it must be our purpose. So we've added a perfection of understanding the meaning of life, the development of learning, or the learning and nurturing of our soul through the art of dialectic. So another purification and perfection example. Here we go. Sing goodbye to repentance, retribution, and salvation. So the stages of fucking with people's psyche. You are a bad noodle. You need to repent and tell everyone how bad you are. And then you have to take your retribution. Then you have to suffer. Yes, and I feel like a big, strong Noah, big, strong, tough guy inflicting that suffering. And then you will be saved somehow because of magic. Somehow your problems won't be there after you have believed that you're bad, which is not true and harmful, gets in the way of learning. Accepted violence and suffering, which again, not true, not helpful, doesn't help your learning, and your problems are solved because of magic. Salvation. So we purify that to perfect the idea of actually solving problems through the dialectic, which is what we're here for. And in mastering that, we are developing a justice within ourselves, because it's what we need to purify ourselves and perfect ourselves. So the dialectic is justice. And this bullshit repentance, retribution, and salvation is injustice. So you better stop doing that if you want to stop being a dick and you don't want to suffer the implications of doing that in your further incarnations. We are in a cycle of here we go. Here is another perfection. So okay, so now we can have so those are specific examples of perfection and purification. That is the functioning of the art of dialectic, which is the meaning of life for all people and all people at this level of intelligence. So we can say the destiny of man. But now we can apply it to levels or layers. So this is the idea of analogy that we've been playing with in our reading. There's the individual soul. There's our soul like our individual lifetime. You here. There's your soul going through multiple incarnations. And there is the human race. Those are the three levels we've been playing with. And here we can say what human beings as a race are here to do is, or what mankind is here to do, is to learn how to, we'll do that. Oh, big stretch. In order to purify ourselves from all clan beliefs. So there will be a way of being able to understand all kinds of clan beliefs. Nazi beliefs, sexist beliefs, Christian, Protestant, Anglican, Mormon, blah, 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 blah. But if they are literally the cause of problems and suffering, individually and collectively, then our job is to purify ourselves by learning how to, learning the full range and learning how to remove all clan beliefs and the cycle of that being perpetuated through our species. And if you've ever watched an anime or any movie or whatever story, you'll see that if it's half decent, the main characters and the main villains will realize that the cause of the problems of the villain is a cycle of clan beliefs. They were treated in an unjust way that they tried to make sense of, that caused their anger towards the world. Yes, that's the issue. We have anger. We all carry anger because we all suffered an injustice in our early childhood. Likewise, the main character is different from the villain in that he's trying his best to reach his excellence, but even in the main character's arc, in order to awaken his higher functioning, he has to himself go back to his early childhood and address his clan beliefs and sacrifice what's false to awaken his own unique way of being. That's the same thing. Everyone, because that's every human being is going through the same process. As a soul, you pick because of what you're identified with, and due to the level of being able to participate in divine luminosity, creates a way of being and identity that is the cause of this incarnation, causing you to be born into a family where you pick up a similar false belief. So you get in this lifetime what you need to solve your soul's problems through multiple lifetimes. In other words, we have what we need to finish the game here. But you suffer the injustice. You suffer the injustice and you take the blame. You accept a false belief about yourself and reality. Accept the fear of understanding mind and self. Identify with that mask that causes all your problems and suffering. And in exchange for a way of being and role within the family. A clan identity. So if this is the nature of every single human being, allowing us to, again, perfect our understanding of the meaning of life and purify ourselves from the idea that there isn't a meaning of life, or the meaning of life is for our king to be in charge or our clergy to be in charge, which is what those fuckers always want. God wants the Jews to be in charge. Let's kill all the Palestinians. God wants the Christians to be in charge. Let's kill everyone so Jesus comes back. God wants me to be a billionaire. Same old shit. The difference between the main character and the evil character in every work of literature or anime is how they deal with that. The villain plays out the implications of the anger their soul carries due to that injustice on everyone. They project. That's the right wing. The villains, they are mythologically the villains. The right wing projects all of their bullshit. The fascists project all their bullshit. And they try and kill the good people, the thinkers, the progressives. Donald Trump is setting up concentration camps for people who think and people who want to live a happy life. Half of the country, he says, is his enemy. His job is to help everyone. He's the least qualified. That's the nature of belief. The villain. The anger for the injustices he suffered from his abusive racist parents, he is playing out on everyone else. He is a disgusting, sadistic tyrant while also feeling like he's the victim always. Because he's still stuck. He hasn't addressed his pathologos. So that's the difference between the hero and the villain. The hero, on the other hand, is seeking excellence in his art. That's what makes the difference. That's why we read these texts. This is why what we do here isn't entertain. Well, it's entertaining because it's fun and I'm cool.
Don't be disgusting.
Sorry. But we're reading a book that is one of the most meaningful, helpful, beneficial and providential and intelligible things ever read, because to read it requires excellence. To read it with the level of precision and care we're reading without interpretation, while learning the methods of learning from the book, and then ousia, turning upon the book and applying it to the book, finding the questions in the book, realizing we don't know the meaning of life, etc., all of these things, finding the clues in the book, piecing it together, having the insights and the joyful feelings in our body of the insights when we put it together, applying it in the world, purifying ourselves from all of these false knowing pretenses and images and imitations. That very thing we learned in the book, we apply it to the book without carrying and without a need to project our own, but maybe Jesus, but maybe Allah, but maybe the white races, but maybe the nuts. No. There's no need to project our bullshit beliefs, because we literally had that in the text. The reason why it's taking us taken us 2,500 years, 2,500 years to actually listen to Socrates. Well, is the problem that has been going through all of these traditions. When beliefs go beyond what believers can believe, they add to our doctrines what they want to believe. People substitute their own beliefs for Jesus. Everyone does. I don't like that, so my reading of the Bible is this. That's why there are a billion Christians, and they all have a different idea. But also, man is caught in his own beliefs and opinions that block him from vision, by definition, and we are going through the activity of reasoning about the book with excellence by not being caught in our own beliefs and opinions, so we can see the vision of the book itself. But here we go. Why has it taken us 2,500 years to listen to Socrates? Because it's only at this time now where there have been philosophers whose visions were not obscured by a need to add what they wanted to believe to what was being revealed. No projections of our own beliefs. That's why it's taken us so long to listen. That's why we've been so fucking stupid for so long. So, reading with this sort of integrity where we're not trying to project our own beliefs is the exercise we're doing in this book. Why were we talking about that? I lost my train. Sus, what was I talking about? My goodness. The application of perfection and purification to all these different levels. Purifying ourselves from all clan beliefs. Oh, the need for excellence. Oh, that's right. We're talking about anime, of course. I saw the Demon Slayers film last night. It's pretty good. But yeah, I mean, and you will see that is exactly like the Demon Slayers film from the Demon Slayer anime that was just been released. They do that. They break down exactly what we're talking about, but it's always true. Difference being that, yeah, so what makes the difference is the main character seeks excellence in his art. He wants to be a Demon Slayer. He wants to be Hokage. He wants to master ninjutsu. Or jujitsu because he can't do ninjutsu. He wants to be a Soul Reaper. He wants to be a Super Saiyan. He wants to master the Kamehameha or the Kaioken. It's always the same. He wants to be a wizard. He wants to be a Jedi. There has to necessarily be a intelligible art, an art that is rational and has levels of development and hierarchical development within a system that you can achieve with excellence. There has to be that. That's the only difference. Well, that's the fundamental difference. Why? Because if you don't have that desire to perfect that art with excellence, You will still have the anger at the injustice you suffered as a human being in childhood when your self-development was blocked by your parents or parental surrogates, and whatever cultural beliefs surrounded that, religious and capitalistic beliefs and so on and so on, societal religious beliefs. You'll still have the anger because it was an injustice. It was an insult to the self. But you will seek vengeance. You will play out your anger. You will project the anger onto the world. Everyone in the Republican and right wing, all of the capitalist billionaires, they're sociopaths. They project their anger at being bullied, at being crushed on everyone else, and they seek to get this, the thing that we've purified, retribution, the idea of balancing the scale by inflicting the suffering on others, punishment, retribution on others. Oh, spam. First spam chat of the day. Let's block that. They always do it. It's always the same. Even Darth Vader. But the main character, the hero, wants to develop excellence, so he's forced to face that anger, because that anger and whatever he's still carrying from his family clan beliefs will always limit him. That's the character arc. He has to go back. Like the last Marvel Avengers movie, where everyone has to go back in time. I mean, the spirit was there. The writing was a bit clunky because they invented time travel in like a minute, and then Thor and Captain America and Iron Man traveled through time, and they each talked to their parents to somehow address a false teaching from an early scene. So it was there. It wasn't written well and it wasn't fleshed out great, but in Avengers Endgame, the end one of that like lineage of huge blockbuster Avenger movies. But it's always the same. That's why we read. Because to read this book the way we're doing it is excellence. This is a kind of excellence. It's one of the highest kinds of excellence, to master this kind of a thing. As we do it, you will surface all of the blocks. That's anger directed towards you as you take the blame. I can't do this. I'm not good enough. I'm a bad noodle and a small bean. Or others. Screw Socrates, he's stupid. Screw Jed, he's too handsome to be on Twitch. Screw philosophy, I hate it. Blah, blah. These blocks will surface, but because you want to be Hokage, you want to be king of the pirates, you want to be someone who can master this text and reach your true excellence of self, to know and show the self, fulfill your purpose for here and beyond, you address those blocks as they arise through the art of dialectic, which we're learning here, to overcome those clan beliefs and false images of the self so that you can reach excellence. And then, what does the main character do in every story and every anime and every movie after he's able to do that? He addresses others and helps them. He helps like-minded people along the way. Harry Potter helps Hermione and Ron Weasley. Or the Avengers help the other Avengers in their problems. They help others who aren't in there. So for us, we would share our insights with each other, practice the dialectic with each other, find like-minded people who also are in this game, who are also seeking excellence of this, who also want to be good people, who also, I don't know, any of these things, want to fulfill their purpose. But then we can reach out to others. That's the idea of inspiring them by your beautiful and rational way of being. Beautiful, the principle of Aphrodite. Rational, Apollo, because that inspires others. I also want to participate in that excellence that I see in you. That's the dialectic. So Aphrodite and Apollo lead to Hermes, or the dialectic. So that's our way of sharing with others. But then ultimately, the main character faces the person who's the worst. The worst person, the biggest villain. Frieza, or Blackbeard, or Voldemort, or Darth Vader. They're still the human, they still have the same problems. Everything the main character goes through also applies to them. Or in the text we saw last time, a way of being that applies to, that can apply to, we just read it. The best of our citizens are the philosophers, or philodianoias, and those feared to be the worst. Dramatically represented, that's every story. The one ingredient that is missing is excellence. The main character seeks excellence in an art. The villain is in anger, but is pursuing pseudo-excellence. The cause of his anger is this image of excellence that was perpetrated on him, but instead of addressing it, he tries to be it. It's projection. All of these right-wing fascists, all of these Trumpers and Nazis and stuff, they're all like, oh, being gay is bad, and then they're gay. Oh, the Democrats are trying to gerrymander, while they gerrymander. The woke don't want you to be healthy, as they remove healthcare. It's all projection of the very thing they're doing. Therefore, the cause of injustice. The anger projected, and the way of addressing our anger through pseudo-excellence, doing the very thing that caused your anger on the first place to others, that's the nature of injustice. The nature of justice is seeking excellence in an art, especially mastering a text like this, especially mastering the highest art, the dialectic, so that when that anger and those images arise, you can use the dialectic to address and remove it and reach that excellence that allows you to then turn around and benefit others. Starting with people who are already in the game, then randos, and then those feared to be the worst, to quote the text. It's always the same. Hero versus villain. Pseudo-excellence for excellence versus pseudo-excellence. Isn't that interesting? I think that's interesting. Look for it in the next movie you watch. And if you watch a movie that kind of stinks, think about, is it because it's lacking this? Oh, they just made the main character evil. What a crappy movie. Like the Bible. Like modern Christians. Oh, the villain didn't actually have a cause to their villainy. They're just bad. Yeah, oh, that's racism. That's stupid. Oh, there isn't a cause to Palestinian suffering. They're just bad. Let's just murder them. That's fucked. That's injustice in the highest sense. War, therefore, unjust. So, when we recognize that it's universal, it applies to everyone, heroes and villains, the difference being excellence, you have to address it to reach excellence. That's why you need to be in the game, reading, having something you're interested in, and reaching it with excellence. If we can do that, we can, as a race, do it. as a race, end the cycle of all clan beliefs, and go on to know ourselves. As a race, we have that destiny. It's everywhere present. It's to come to know thyself and realize the nature of reality as divine. The only difficulty is we are loyal to other goals, like a villain. I don't want to reflect on the rude injustice I suffered, so I don't play out my anger in a villainous way. By knowing the true nature of the self and the nature of reality as divine. No, I want to crush all Saiyans. Crush all wizards. Destroy Hogwarts. Whatever. Rule the universe and destroy the Jedis. Okay, so that's for the human race, but also for every individual. So, the purification and perfection for this level is purifying all clan beliefs and the cycle of clan beliefs, and to perfect our race, knowing the self and the nature of reality as a race. Or said further, which allows humanity to elevate itself to a higher level of being. Where is it? The race of man ends in the state no longer of man, but that to which he has joined himself. So the true race of man, a higher race of man. That's what we perfect through a purification of all clan beliefs. Hooray. Now, in terms of the soul in many lifetimes, or the immortal soul, the soul also, okay, so that's humanity. The child has a similar thing. Individual clan beliefs, an individual way of being that shapes his individual life, and so too the soul. So there'd be an equivalent purification of our false beliefs and images that we identify with as a person, and a perfection of the true excellence, again, knowing the self and reality, self-mind, through the art of understanding. 1, 2, 3. Self. Know the self. Know the reality as divine mind. Through the art of dialectic. 1, 2, 3. And purification number 4, beliefs. And making sure you don't go into 5, a massive difference where you give up. Don't give up. Who's to say what's right and wrong, says the Democrats. Just let the fascists do fascist stuff. Okay, kill millions of people. I'm Nancy Pelosi. I'm Chuck Schumer. Just let them. Oh yeah, kill everyone. Who gives a fuck? I mean, I don't want to be killed, but I can't go from an individual belief to a true model that applies to everyone. So long as I get my money and I live a comfortable life, let the Palestinians die. Let all the American children not have any food. Or no one ever have a house because all the billionaires have all the everything. Let everyone be homeless and suffering and starve. I'm Nancy Pelosi. I'm Chuck Schumer. Let the fascists, let the stupidest people take over. Why not? Okay, that's number 5. Massive difference. Okay. So, we could say our soul going through a journey between heaven and earth goes through things that allows it to experience what accounts for the full range of self-imposed masks that block the perception of the self. So, The purpose of mankind, removing all clan beliefs, is in alignment with the purpose of your soul to remove all self-imposed masks. Count for the full range. And by the way, if you can do that, you won't have anything blocking you from enduring the divine luminosity of the brilliant light of being, and to the degree that which you can participate in that is the degree of corresponding profound depth or shallowness of your own way of being. And you realize what blocked you from that profound experience the whole time was the fear that yourself would be extinguished. But our job as a soul is to realize that all of those things you are fearing being extinguished are all of the self-imposed masks that are false. Just like within humanity, our job is to account for all of these cycles of clan beliefs that result in those self-imposed masks, meaning we can fulfill our purpose and completely participate in the divine luminosity of pure being, to know the nature of reality is divine and go through that as a doorway to its cause, the self, and fulfill our highest excellence in this lifetime as a race and as a soul. All right. Okay, and then we have here the specific conditions of the imposition of that false belief, which is a imitation of divine luminosity. That very thing where you can get a direct experience of self as reality is imitated when an apparent parental figure appears true, appears noble, appears knowing, appears to be the truth of reality or life, appears to be sincere and caring. That's what we have to, we think we're stupid because we never thought it would be like that. It isn't. We take the blame and we get a new way of being that becomes the new way of life for the child. We gladly accept that clan belief and becomes the appearance of excellence, pseudo-excellence, and that pseudo-excellence drives our soul as the villain or injustice. And the anger of having suffered this, we project on others, and that causes our sadistic violence of the villain. If we want to gain excellence or replace pseudo-excellence with true excellence, we can address that and become the hero by perfecting our art through this process. We can admire the excellence we see in other heroes, like Socrates here, and it inspires us to achieve something similar. We see Goku becoming Super Saiyan, and Vegeta becomes a Super Saiyan. He's inspired to do it, and so on. The drive for excellence is the fuel for an inner life, and it shapes us to become more real in ourselves. So those are the levels of perfection and purification. Difficulty is, well, if it's for everyone, if it's literally everyone, if it's the difference between whether you become a villain or a hero, then how do we share it with everyone? It's tricky because if you just tell people, they will not get it. And they'll think it's esoteric. And they'll think you're weird. And an example of that is Socrates saying, hey, what I don't know, I don't think that I do know it. And something simple and clear, but people mistake that, oh, that means you know nothing. Oh. Get off Facebook, Grandma. Because the state of one is beyond knowing, and everything below knowing can't be an object of knowledge. And you wouldn't mistake it for anything else. So, another level of purification and perfection is the communication between the gods and man. We want to purify the false beliefs that God doesn't talk to us, or the self doesn't, or reality doesn't talk to us. And we live in a cold world where you have to just do as you're told by the sadistic fucker who calls himself Pope or Imam or preacher or whoever the fuck, and the sadistic bastard who calls himself president. You can't actually communicate with the divine. We have to purify ourselves from that ignorance and perfect our own understanding of all of the lines of communication that the divine have with us, through oracles, through dreams, and a bunch of other ways that we have yet to outline. Because an inner voice, dreams, oracles, and other stuff that Plato didn't write down. Another level of purification and perfection. Okay, and this act of the main character using their developed art to help others ultimately become pirate kings themselves, become Super Saiyans themselves, become heroes themselves, is the act of awakening the sleeping souls of man by stinging them with questions about the nature of man and divine. So that, and by the way, you're not on that journey alone.
I'm looking for someone to share in.
Because you get guidance in that activity of awakening sleeping souls of man through dreams and oracles and other things that we want to understand and nail down and perfect. Awakening people from the sleep of normalcy. Get excellence, buddy. You need to be seeking excellence. It's a difference between hero and villain. So another purification to perfection. Jesus said he thought his job was to purify people from tribal gods. Whole bunch, everyone has their own projections. Every family has their own god. Every clan has their own god. Now, literally, back in the old days, but today, every Christian family has their own different idea of Christianity. Not just the hundreds of different sects, Protestant, Mormon, Latter-day Saints, fucking all sorts of shit. But even within them, every parent claims to be, well, actually, I know God king or priest king of the house. So how about stopping all that bullshit? The tribal gods is simply a sanctification or a pedestalization of our own false beliefs, making universal and pretending it's true our own fucking ignorance. Jesus said his job was to purify people from those tribal gods and actually accept a mythology, a metaphor, a personification understanding of gods. It's not actually a dude with a beard in the sky, but a personification God who personifies the quest to know thyself and return to the source that is the true source, true goal of all intelligible life. So the self from which mind and reality spring, get there, because that's the self. And follow a God that personifies that, or what we call Zeus. So, for Jesus, purify tribal gods and perfect through a God that personifies knowing himself. Notice, it's always the same goal that we're perfecting. Know the self in reality and through the art of understanding. Self, mind, understanding. 1, 2, 3. Okay, as Socrates also perfected laws. Our laws is another expression of that same issue. Society normally defends their primary beliefs, which is our ignorance. Whereas Socrates says, hey, you know what laws need to do? Give people the opportunity to reflect on those laws, review the justice of the laws and punishment, review the rationality behind the laws, make sure it can be applied to heroes and villain. Is the activity that the hero needed to the best of citizens to get to be the best of citizens? Is it the same universal principles that can be applied to the villains? Is that why Naruto's greatest art was the talk no jutsu? He was able to reflect on the traumatic childhood experiences that were an injustice they suffered, that all of the villains suffered, so that the villain can turn themselves around and become good? Yes, that's what he did. Because he could relate to it, because he had to go through the examination of that, he realized, I could have gone down that track, but I went down this track. The only difference was I was seeking excellence and benefit, and I had to address that with reason and understanding and friends along the way. And if you didn't have a guide, the Logos dialectic, you didn't have friends helping you along the way, or you didn't have an art you could master that you could focus on, that would surface the blocks to that art as you develop, then you would just become a villain. Inevitably, that's your fate. Yes, that's always the same. So, purification of the unjust laws based on the sanctification of beliefs, just as we talked about Jesus' job to purify tribal gods, which is the sanctification of beliefs. Just as the individual villains sanctify their own personal beliefs, it's always the sanctification or the taking as true and universal beliefs is the cause of all problems on every level, whereas true justice and excellence is the perfection of understanding, the Logos. It's beliefs versus the Logos. And the beliefs are imitating, cosplaying as the Logos, because for it to be the God means the Logos. The highest aspect of God is the rationality or the intelligibility of the divine. That's the Logos. And equally so, to make universal is the Logos. The dialectic is universal. That's its nature. That's why understanding benefits everyone. That's why hypocrisy and lies are shit, because it's not universally applied. That's why inequality and slavery is shit, because it's not universally benefiting. So beliefs cosplay as the Logos, or the imitation of the Logos. That's what we're here to purify on every level, whereas the true Logos is what we're here to perfect through understanding and the art of dialectic. Apply it to tribal gods if you're Jesus. Apply it to laws of the state if you're Socrates. Apply it to your own self-identification, way of being, and masks if you're a person. Or if you're watching this from another galaxy, whatever you are. If you have language and the ability to reflect on yourself, then that's your job as well. And you can personify that, not just as a main character and villain, Harry Potter and Voldemort, Naruto and who was the villain? Not Obito, Madara. But you can also so because it's always the same. It's always just the same thing. Sanctification of beliefs as the imitation of the Logos that we have to purify because it's injustice and the cause of problems, and mastery of the actual universal Logos through the dialectic to reach excellence, to know the self, reality, and function through both via the dialectic. Self, reality or mind, understanding or dialectic. 1, 2, 3. Self, mind, understanding. And because it's the same, then you have this same bless me. Bless me.
I'm too pure. Do a pog freaks. The more holes, I'm cute. Like, bless you. Excuse you. Excuse you. Bless 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 you.
I got the one that I was wanting. I need to figure out a better way of doing soundboard. Bless me. So as souls play it out, as people play it out, so too cultures can play. As laws play it out, so too cultures can play it out. And so you can personify the hero versus villain, or belief versus understanding, as Athens and Jerusalem. Jerusalem representing belief, Athens representing understanding. Isn't it interesting? Is it fun? I hope you're having fun. Where's the joy?
Where's the joy? Where's the
Where's
whimsy? Where's
the
the
whimsy?
childlike wonder, dude?
Where's the childlike wonder, dude? I'm having fun and joy and whimsy because this book is excellent. Oh, and given that it's same goal, and the fact that we're able to do this because of Socrates, the fact that we can awaken to the implications of not doing it because of Socrates doing his thing 100 years before nukes. Now we can see what happened to our society if we ignored him, and we can see what's our fate, end of all life, through the playing out of that sanctification of ignorant beliefs through nuclear Armageddon, leading us to the question, well, is there a justice or divine purpose to about or behind Socrates being born when he did at that time in that Hellenic age in Athens, as the teacher of the guy who invented the first universities in the West? You arrived at a stage of history for your destiny to be known to all of mankind. We can know his destiny now. Took us 2,500 years, and we looked at that earlier in the text today. Destiny and the glory of Athens is unique. Destiny and the future of mankind shake hands. When society turns towards mind and the things of mind, there is a flowering of culture. But when it turns criminal and becomes oppressive, philosophy cannot play its public role. So there's a marker. If we've understood the nature of injustice and problems and the nature of justice and excellence, we can see then, therefore, a just society needs to have a significant role for philosophers, because that's how you do it. That's how you be a hero and how you end villainy. So, if you do that, you have a central role for philosophy in the public, and there'll be a flowering of culture. Everything gets good. And of course, when the philosophy was banned and the philosophers were murdered by the founders of the Catholic Church, we had what we call the Dark Ages, where everything was the opposite of flowering and culture. It was a shit show. The Dark Ages, 529 AD, when Emperor Justinian put an end to philosophy to sanctify Paul's beliefs, because they could usurp that to say, I get to be in charge. I'm the best boy. I'm so wise. Look at me telling everyone what to do. Fascist, tyrannical fuckery. Plato should have talked about dreams and oracles, but we killed Socrates before he was able to teach him that stuff. And the reason we killed Socrates was because he didn't follow the official state religion, including Homer, and Homer talked about dreams, so Plato didn't want that. Oh, and also the significance of this understanding the cause of heroes and villains, understanding that all of these levels of purification, which is always the same thing, sanctification of beliefs at all these different levels, and perfection of the logos through the dialectic, opening us up to higher levels of excellence and enlightenment, can't be secret anymore. No secrets. Let's just say it. We don't have time to keep secrets. We have nukes and Netanyahus and Trumps and Putins. And we have fascists with money fascists. We have Elon Musk's, the open Nazi multi-billionaire, and we got Zuckerbergs, and we have who's that Amazon guy? Him. Jeff Amazon. With all of the resources and the ignorance to play out their false beliefs, sanctified false beliefs, to the extinction of all life on this planet. So, let's not keep it secret anymore. It's best for the wise among us to talk openly about what has shaped their spiritual life. So that includes this understanding, but also our experiences. Last time I gave some stories about what it was like meeting Pierre Grimes in person. And actually this very question, I talked about asking him this question, that Canadian film crew was there. Whatever happened to that documentary? I wonder. Never heard anything about it after. But yeah, I asked him about like his spiritual experiences and so forth, and he like an Aikido master deflected my question. Pew, 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 pew. And I realized when I got 4 steps out of his front door, oh holy shit, he just gave me a story about peas on a plate. But I think there might have been a reason for it at the time because of what he was doing. Like introducing these ideas slowly to a group of people, to, you know, again, a small group of people. It's always confused me. One of the first things he said was, when I met him in person was, wouldn't it be great if everyone learnt midwifery and dream analysis and the dialectic? Oh yeah. Like especially spiritual people, right? Oh yeah, of course. Like Buddhists, they want to remove their blocks for enlightenment. Yeah. Taoists too. And even Christian mystics and Jewish mystics and Muslims, wouldn't they want a way of purifying themselves from their problems and their blocks so they can also perfect themselves in excellence and enlightenment? It's like, yeah, absolutely. So we had this little conversation with me, went for a while, and we talked about sending DVDs out and questionnaires and things. And then we never did anything on it. And the next day I was talking to him and I said, well, what, are we going to do anything about these DVDs and questionnaires? He goes, no, I was fucking with you, bro. He said,
Talking about a bunch of slop.
I'm talking about a bunch of slop. What do you mean? He goes, how many years have you been doing this? I said, no, a few. How many people have you told about this? And I said, probably everyone I've ever met. How many people have gotten into it? Like 1? Kind of. But yeah, pretty close to fuck all. He said something like, well, everyone who could be into this game was sitting at the table that we were at yesterday. Which has always blown my mind. Like, you're playing Mass Effect. Don't you want to know what the buttons are? Don't you want to know what the goal of the game is? Don't you want to know how to play? Apparently not. That's how fucking stupid we are. But that was a while ago. Maybe, well, I think according to this, and this is something that he wrote before he passed away, no, we say it anyway now. No more secret doctrines. It's best for the wise to talk openly about this, not only this understanding, but what shaped their own spiritual life, including that little story. How difficult it was many years ago to, as someone not in California, and the dozen or so people who can even have this conversation all lived in California, trying to learn this shit and trying to share this shit, trying to learn this stuff and share it was hell. And seemed insane to me. Doesn't everyone want to remove suffering? Doesn't everyone want happiness? Not if it conflicts with their precious beliefs. They don't. So, but we talk openly about it now and share it with everyone, not just a few chosen ones. And that's the stream. Everything is posted on YouTube and is live streamed on Twitch and YouTube, and you can join the Discord. and you'll get a notification when we go live. You can find other people in the Discord, and hopefully enough people wake up to it that this and have fun with this, that you can talk with them and practice. But it's not esoteric. It's difficult because, you know, I'm not playing a fun video game. I mean, I'm talking about video games. And it's difficult also because the very thing we're here to do, solve problems, we are in. We're trying to solve the very problems we're in. In other words, we're understanding the root cause of problems is a fiercely, savagely, zombie-like loyalty to our false beliefs and images, even though it causes our own disgusting suffering and negative incarnations. We're understanding that, but we're still in it. We are still zombies. It's like a zombie learning how to cure the zombie virus. That's the difficulty. If you got the zombie virus, all you want to do is eat brains. But imagine being that level of zombie, NPC, while also trying to cure the zombie virus. That's what you're fighting against. But the thing is, if we share it, enough people get on board, we can have fun with it, and we can have a good old time.
I'm too pure.
That's where you live, in the weirdo pool.
But this is probably the stupidest.
He better not.
Okay. Irrelevant sound drops.
I don't want to eat a monkey.
So, that's where we are in the text. Let me top up my coffee, and let's keep reading. We're at the chorus. Now we get... So this is the fun stuff. There should be more choruses in the book, because the choruses are the haters. The thing that drives the algorithms on the Twitch and YouTube and stuff. Not Instagram and YouTube and stuff. People angry. Oh, I hate thinking. I hate thinking. I hate helping. I hate learning. I hate people who are different from my family. Yes, that's the chorus. But the anti-chorus are the ones that clap back with facts. So then we have the anti-chorus that owns the chorus. So this is the stuff that gives the good content. So take a pause and we'll jump into it in a sec. Okay, chorus. Chorus. Bring them up. The haterade drinkers. The copium smokers. Here we go. Oh, before that, let's bring us in. Start here. The glory of Athens is unique. Destiny and the future of mankind shake hands. When society turns towards mind and the things of mind, there is a flowering of culture, but when it turns criminal and becomes oppressive, my kind of philosophy cannot play its public role. Well done. But now, these are the words of Plato, are they not? So what is it Plato missed? If he were able to know such things, Plato should have shared with us what dreams and oracles shaped his destiny. Notice Plato's statement of my claim that what has come to me includes, in every way, in which some divine influence has ever come to man. Well, clearly, this is worth explaining. The claim is as startling to hear as it is to accept. I claim that in any way in which anyone in the past has ever been influenced by the divine, well, that's also happened to me. There are not many claims that can match this one. Yes, Socrates, that's quite a banger of a claim. I wonder about this issue that is in front of us, says Jesus. You think that it is best for the wise among us to talk openly about what has shaped their spiritual life. That, of course, means no secret doctrine needs to be only shared with a few chosen ones. If you are right, then there is no need for an esoteric tradition. Wow. Oh my goodness. So, the way I see it, there are kind of two levels of the esoteric tradition. There is the explicit, where, like, maybe three. So there's the way that Jesus talked about the analogical key or way of understanding his parables. He's only going to share with his disciples. He is not sharing his teachings with the many. This is what Jesus said. It's talked about in the Gospels. So, only for my special chosen few. Okay? And of course, there's, all belief in clan beliefs is we are the chosen family. We are the chosen people. Okay, but then there's the other one where it's for people's safety. The idea that you have to show that you're genuinely interested, otherwise you could just be a wolf in sheep's clothing trying to destroy everyone. I'm pretending I'm interested, but I'm a secret Jew trying to get dirt on philosophers so I can end the tradition to be a good Jew and get praise from mummy and daddy. Or pick a religion, fits in there. Any clan belief. The idea that even in Eastern traditions, there is what's it called? Where you talk to the guru, but you have to go into a back room because I I've forgotten the name. Because if you talk to people about spiritual things or things of the Logos himself, everyone else in the room will be triggered and become savage zombie fucks, because that's the nature of problems. You are blocked from self and Logos and mind. And it wouldn't be much of a block if you didn't fight against those things. So, you go, what's it called? It's been a while. So the guru takes the student to a one-on-one chat in the back room to discuss things and help them with their whatever. So there's that. It's esoteric because I only want the chosen few, but then there's also esoteric as a protective mechanism. You don't want to put a target on your back. But not doing that anymore. Fire away. Not fire away, but it's important to recognize that it's not for just a few, and we can't keep it secret. It's for everyone. You're all wizards, Harrys.
You're a wizard, you're a wizard, a wizard, a wizard, a wizard, a wizard, a wizard.
Imagine people changing their positions and improving for the better.
So, that's where we are. And the chorus. The chorus says... Chorus says, it's always the same. Just get a clever speaker and let him address the crowd, and he'll pull everything down. This dialogue stuff is foolish. In each exchange, if you don't agree completely, you are dragged along to a conclusion that you don't like. Look at this. No punishment. Look at the new solution and laugh. Instead of hell, you get reborn here on Earth. So you get away with as much as you can. Who wouldn't want to be reborn here, rather than the terrible, hellish punishments man faces in the afterworld? Next, let's pick your own idea of God. Go ahead, just pick it. Get one that is nice and simple. Get one that can't punish for disobeying, and you'll find no God at all. You don't pick a God to make your philosophy smile. You're stuck with one you have been taught, and that's all you need. Now, we see the whole of it. Get this straight. Mankind doesn't need anything new or even a rebuilt truth. What we have is enough. Even if you reject belief and faith, that is better than making believe in reason and understanding. You can't save yourself with this crazy thinking you call understanding. It's mad to think you can understand reality and God. Dump it quick. Madness is where we are, and you can see it being spelled out all around. Philosophy was killed. There's nothing in it. No one gives a damn about it. You can't wake up what was a fierce ghost. It is better to fill your mind with junk than these absurdities. I'll scream out a truth you ought to hear. You people assume you know. All you intellectuals, you are the problem. Get rid of them. We are the only real people. We are the ones because that's all you need. Don't fill our kids with empty and impossible dreams. Life is too damn difficult just by itself. If you add more of this stuff, you'll be digging your own grave. Yes, we are in a war against you guys who blow your own horn. Intellectuals are all pussy-footed idiots who drive us all mad. I'll tell you the truth if you care to hear it. All the wars since the beginning of our mass movements have all been against you guys. Fascism, Nazism, communism, they are all against your kind. It has always been a war against you guys. Right now it takes many forms, but it is right here. All you want is to help those who can't bear to help themselves. There are too many of us on this planet, so wiping out you guys will end more than one problem. You want to get rid of core beliefs? Well, I will tell you that these core beliefs are what are trusted. We finally have a religion of the people that people can believe in. So why don't you just shut up if you can't get into believing? Ooh.
Where's the passion? Is this chat full of dumb cunts?
That's what we have to say to them. Are you full of dumb cunts? Familiar all the way through. Yes. Fascism, Nazism, communism, they're all against the mind. Believers who are being taught to fear and hate the use of their own mind. A lot in here. Dragged along to a conclusion they don't like. Yes, that's called learning, my friend. I don't like that conclusion. that religion and belief is the cause of human problems. That my family doesn't know everything. That my parents were not all-knowing and wise. Reincarnation. I'm not familiar with that. I don't like it. But that's learning. If you agreed with everything already, you wouldn't fucking be here to learn. But also we're getting some positives. We pick a god that makes philosophy smile. Why? Because the gods aren't literal, that's barbarism. They are personifications of metaphysical principles, so they gotta make us smile, because philosophy makes us smile. Pierre would always talk about that. Do it with a smile on your face, he would always say. There are many ways to enlightenment. Make sure you do it with a smile on your face. Or do the one or something. Do one with the... Yeah. Get the one that has a smile on your face. Something like that. I can't remember the exact quote. Okay, we have to reject faith and belief, of course, for reason and understanding. That goes without saying. Because you can believe in terrible shit, and faith is irrational. You can't prove that, I don't know, blacks are not smart compared to whites. Just have faith, says a racist. You can't prove that Jesus was the chosen one or Mary was a virgin. Just believe it, bro. Trust me. You don't believe that you have to genocide the Palestinians because God says so. Just have faith, bro. Okay, and we are here to understand reality and God. Self and mind. Okay, even though they killed the philosophers, you can't kill the human spirit and mind, of course. And intellectuals. So again, it's a war against mind. And as the villain doesn't realize that anger and hatred and fear is their own problem from their own injustice suffered in their own childhood, then they will play out their villainy and injustice by killing the good people in every single story. So too is it in reality, in everyday world. Yes, and of course we see it playing out. Anyone who, like journalists are being murdered by the Jewish state. The Christian nationalists are murdering immigrants in America and have concentration camps where they murder them there. And of course, Trump is waging his war against the left, which are people more inclined to reason and want to benefit people. So it plays out all over the fucking show. Yeah. So, amazingly written, right? Encapsulates it perfectly. This is the essence. I hate the mind. I want to be loyal to the cause of human ignorance and suffering, faith and belief. I'm a zombie. I want to eat your brains. That's it. That's the cry. Human zombies wanting to eat brains. Hey, who ate your brains? That's the real question. That's the hero's journey. And if you can find out who ate your brains and get the antidote from them, you can then become a hero that helps others along the way. Isn't that neat? What a well-written book. Hooray. Book.
You've been a bad little girl and I've been a bad little girl.
Chorus has been bad. Okay, anti-chorus. This is us clapping back. This is us owning the fascists. All right? This is what gets the clicks. Anti-chorus. Your voices speak the truth. Wonderful it is. Yes, Socrates surely is a clever speaker. What? For all your yelling aloud, why don't you put on the table your best example of punishment? Open up your example and show us how the punishment benefits the wrongdoer. Show us. When has punishment ever fucking helped anyone, you sadistic freaks, is what I would say, but not what they say. Point out how punishment keeps the wrongdoer from doing the misdeeds again and again. Show us how the wrongdoer learned something that benefited them, other than trying to avoid being caught for the wrongdoing. Right? Right? Why does Netanyahu continue to play out his sadistic bullshit so he can never get caught for his crimes against humanity? Same for Trump. Trying not to get caught by holding on to power. Have they learnt anything? Fuck no. Yes, you have to pick a god. You need to review carefully what you see necessary if this cosmos has been brought into existence from a higher intelligible causes. People cutting down trees out my window. If there is a god, you pick a god. What is necessary if there is a god and therefore has brought this cosmos into existence from higher intelligible causes? If we can see with our obvious human brains that punishment doesn't benefit the wrongdoer, doesn't prevent them from making the same mistakes, doesn't learn anything that benefits them, and only teaches them not to get caught, if we can see how fucking stupid punishment is, tell us how a even wiser God still does it. If there is an intelligible, divine, creative cause, or intelligent cause, then pick a God that follows it, please. The idea of God or theology one has should be drawn with care, not just fed down your throat by whatever fucker raised you. Excuse me, whatever wise guru raised everyone, because everyone who's a parent knows everything. Yes, so they're never wrong. What horseshit. It should encompass all that reflects the ideas. Okay, this is what it should be. It should be drawn with care. It should encompass all that reflects the ideas of perfection, truth, goodness, and beauty. And then see why the most profound of superlatives can be assigned to that divine luminosity. So what are we doing? We are gaining an understanding of what... So we have purified a false image of intelligent divine God, and we are creating ourselves what must necessarily be the conditions for an actual theology. Drawn with care, A. Encompassing the ideas of perfection. If it's not perfect, then it wouldn't be much of a God. It has to be true, it can't be make-em-ups. It has to be good and beautiful. Okay, now, we also have to see why the most profound of superlatives must be assigned to that divine luminosity. So not only has it these qualities, but necessarily it has to be defined with the highest use of language. And it is divine luminosity. Show how that's the case. Back to the chorus, anti-chorus. But these most fundamental ideas are denied of the one or the good itself. But therefore, if there is this theology or divine intelligible higher causes in the cosmos, Not only must they reflect perfection, truth, goodness, and beauty, but all of the highest words must be assigned to it. But even that, therefore, has to have a cause, and as causes are more transcendent and higher than the effects, it must be a cause that is beyond the highest language. Therefore, these fundamental ideas are denied from the one or the good itself. Isn't that interesting? Take a look at what is being said. Or are you afraid to? Chicken. Don't worry about seeing that your basic ideas are hollow and empty of meaning. You'll still believe whatever has convinced you was true. So, hey, you haters, fascists, communists, Nazis, religious folk, believers, those zombie-like, fascistically loyal to false beliefs of the family clan people. Don't worry. Don't be afraid. Don't worry that you see your basic ideas are hollow and empty of meaning. This has always puzzled me. You've seen there are thousands of stupid-ass religions. How can you see that all of them are wrong but not think yours are? Equally so, there are billions of children who believe their family is and their parents know what's true and real. How can you deny 8 billion people innate wisdom from the fact that they have kids, but not your own? That's always puzzled me. Anyway. Zombie. Anyway. Don't worry that you are about seeing or being led to conclusions that you don't like, as they said in their own words. Because even though you see that your basic ideas that you are fiercely loyal to as fucking zombie brain-eating pigs. Sorry. I'm going hard on people at the moment, aren't I? I'm just so tired of how self-righteous people's ignorance is. And it's the worst people who are the most loyal to their ignorance, which is fascinating. It's interesting, isn't it? Don't worry about seeing that your basic ideas are hollow and empty of meaning. Why? Because you'll still believe what has convinced you was true. Yeah. Or, to put it in terms of the oracle,
The problem is that you can't reason
someone out of a position that they didn't reason themselves into. The problem is that you can't reason
someone out of a position that they didn't reason themselves into.
oracle, you're drunk.
The problem is that you can't reason someone out of a position that they didn't reason themselves into.
You're drunk. Go home. But yeah, you can't reason yourself out of a position you didn't reason yourself into. Don't worry that you've reasoned yourself into realizing that the basic ideas that you have faith and belief in, that is in opposition to reason and understanding, the course of fascism, communism, Nazism, and all of the many wars against good people in the mind, are empty and full of meaning. Empty of meaning and hollow. Don't worry because you can't reason yourself out of a position you didn't reason yourself into. In other words, you'll still believe what has convinced you that they were true. Again, doesn't matter how many arguments you put to people. Hey, 100,000 religions are wrong, but yours isn't. Religion is, and loyalty to religion and political clan identity is the cause of millions or billions even of countless innocent deaths and continual injustice, but not yours. There are 8 billion families on the planet or whatever, or I don't know, families, maybe let's say 6 billion families who on the planet. All of their stupid parents are stupid or don't know everything. They're not enlightened sages, but not yours. Doesn't matter. but I love them. But I believe them. You'll still believe what has convinced you it was true. So, grow a spine. Again, the need for seeking excellence. Because those false beliefs will block you from that excellence, requiring you to examine the root causes of your false imitation, not reason, imitation, the cause of your belief, your pseudo-excellence. And so long as you keep the fire alive in your heart, seeking truth and excellence, you can face it through the art of the dialectic and free yourself from what you were convinced was true. And then
imagine people changing their positions and improving for the better.
You'll change your positions and learn for the better, and we will say,
I'm cute. Like, it's cutie pie.
that you are a cutie pie. And then Aaron Brown will say
I find that very entertaining.
that he finds it entertaining, and it'll be a win-win.
It's a win-win.
And then even Joe Rogan will say
I don't want to eat a monkey.
that he doesn't want to eat a monkey anymore. And if you can convince Joe Rogan not to eat a monkey, you have demonstrated the dialectic in a way that is the highest. Interesting, says Jesus to Socrates, how we have moved from punishment to the idea of reincarnation. And then now we're going to go on to what happens in the, the stages of our reincarnation. What do we experience when we die? And what are the stages that we go through before our reincarnation? And let's do it properly and in a good way where we can have lots of joy and whimsy and childhood.
Where's the joy? Where's the whimsy? Where's the childlike
I've been a bad little girl.
Because Emma has been following beliefs, but we can help her gain understanding. Hooray, it's a win-win.
It's a win-win. It's a
We always be winning up in here. So, chorus and anti-chorus, great place to pause for today, because that's the drama that gets you the clicks. So yeah. So even though they are saying it in opposition to truth and understanding, or reason and understanding, what they are demonstrating by being haters is the very things we're concluding. We tried to kill you guys. Whether we be Nazis or communists or fascists or capitalists, we'll always be trying to fight a war against you guys. We hate the mind, we hate intellectuals, we hate thinkers. We want to be fiercely loyal to our own fucking stupid injustice and ignorance and faith, to believe that which is not provable by definition or disproven. So you don't just get the belief, you have to stomach the second pill, which is that irrationality and absurdity is the mark of truth, which fucks with your brain, with your psyche, not your brain, your mind. So, fiercely loyal to that which causes all human suffering and problems is the nature of man's issue. We are here to purify ourselves from that and to perfect ourselves in reason and understanding, which also awakens us up to higher experiences of the most profound levels of reality, or the divine. We can know the divine, and because it's intelligible, it is our mind. And we will experience the perfection, truth, goodness, beauty, and that experience that can only be described in positives. So it is the best time. We're having the best old time, while believers inflict the worst time on souls. Understanding opens you up to the absolute best by definition, and even that is a doorway through to that which is even higher than that. Imagine a state which is higher than even the greatest experience. Oh my God, that's our purpose. That's what we perfect. And that's the carrot. If the stick is end of human life, if we don't purify ourselves from belief-based cognition, clan loyalty, clan identity, then the carrot is, well, we get the best experiences and even that which is beyond. So, carrot and stick there for us. That's the game. And today we had a good old fun time realizing that this Single definition of the meaning of life, philodianoia, or the art of dialectic, single terms, can be expressed in two terms, purification and perfection, that can be expressed in all the different ways we talked about today. Purifying fate, perfecting destiny. Purifying from pseudo-excellence, perfection and excellence. Purifying from our villainous nature, becoming the main character hero of the anime. And then also on different levels of reality, for you as an individual, for your soul, and for society. For mankind in terms of removing all clan beliefs, in terms of the soul, by seeing the implications of every single mask you might have and identify with in a lifetime that blocks you from the self. And as an individual, yeah, your specific one. But also Jesus' role to remove tribal gods, the same false beliefs but sanctified and institutionalized. Removing tribal gods to replace it with a god that is a metaphorical personification of knowing the self. And Socrates talking about, kings and clergy, right? It's always the same two. The two professions that reject understanding and claim belief is the saving thing, which is absurd in any other thing. That's the nature of man's immaturity. So while religious officials sanctify belief in terms of a god, so too politicians sanctify their beliefs in terms of laws. So we purify the false laws, that the unjust laws that are there to defend false beliefs, capitalism, fascism, Nazism, and our job is to perfect the laws that reflect true logos and justice through understanding and knowledge and self. So all the different layers, all the different expressions, two things, purification and perfection, one art, the dialectic. And yeah, hooray. Tell your friends, and yeah, I hope you had fun. I hope you had lots of joy, childlike wonder, and whimsy, joy and whimsy and childlike wonder, dudes, because this is your purpose. That's why you're here. If you are that's why you're alive. And if you are fortunate enough to come across this and you have the kind of character to have watched along this far, then you're in the right spot. You're doing well. And we want you to become Hokage. Or what are the demon slayers called? Oh my god. Fuck it. Hashira. We need you to become Super Saiyans or Hokages or Kings of Pirates or Wizards Harrys or Hashira from Demon Slayer. So we have people to talk to and to help develop our art. So that's sharing it with people within a like mind. And then you can share it with others in the world and then even apply it to what are considered the worst or the most ignorant, and maybe help put an end to fascism and mass genocide, suffering, inequality and injustice, so we can save our human race. Why? Well, it may turn out that the human race has a very important part to play within a greater whole of all intelligent life coming to know the self. Fun, fun, fun. And I'll see you in the next one. Oh, again, Twitch, follow on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube, join the Discord and you'll get a notification when you go live, and you can read essays and share things with people and meet people. If you want to support the channel, that's very much appreciated. And there's a link below to do so. And I will, and there's a text that you can read, link below, PDF, and I'll see you in the next one. And then the button.